welcome to MandoBug Crafts, episode 52. What's up? I'm MandoBug, also known as Amanda. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the web as MandoBug. I'd like to say thank you and welcome to new and returning viewers. Thank you for spending a little bit of your day with me. So let's start the show out with something I've learned. So, my friend Lindsay of the Knitwim podcast, side note, if you don't watch her podcast or haven't joined her group on Ravelry, you should go check it out because she has a fabulous Valentine's bat that she's giving away. Ooh, it's pretty. It is pretty. She borrowed my drum carder to make it, and you know, she's kind of used my drum carder more than me. She had a lot of fiber that she wanted to make into bats, and I really haven't gotten around to dyeing fiber for that yet, or combing through my fleeces to send through the carder. So anyways, that was a whole side note. Lindsay let me borrow some of her Ply magazines, and I believe this is the most recent one, issue 7? Yeah, issue 7. This is winter 2014, and it is their worsted issue. And so what I learned reading through this was the very first article is the one true worsted. So she kind of talks about what makes fiber worsted, you know, the preparation and the yarn itself. And what I didn't know is, according to her, the author of the article, Beth Smith, the only way to get a true worsted yarn is to make it yourself. Yeah, how about that? And by make it yourself, I mean, you know, prep it yourself, and then spin it, you know, worsted afterwards. I mean, I guess you could have someone else spin it worsted, but from what I read in the article, she was saying that to be a truly worsted yarn, the fibers have to be aligned in the same direction. When the sheep gets sheared, there's that end against the sheep, and then there's the tip, and those all the little locks have to be facing in the same direction when they get combed to be considered a true worsted. And at mills, that doesn't happen. They get in there every which way, you know, tipping this way, tipping that way, and even though they're combed, they weren't aligned in the same direction, you know. Dance move. But yeah, so I didn't know that. So I always thought that comb top from a mill was worsted, and it is. I mean, it's very worsted, but I guess it's not the true worsted. So I did not know that. I mean, I'm still gonna consider wool top from a mill that was spun worsted. I mean, that's almost as worsted as you can get. You know, I guess there's a varying degrees of worsted and woolen in your yarn, and of course you'll get the different properties from that. But I did not know that about the fiber alignment, that it really mattered which directions the tip was combed. So moving on to works in progress. I've done some more knitting on my Hito Fude, and I think last time I recorded I had just a couple rows, and those rows have become the sleeves. So I've bound off the sleeves, and I'm working my way around through the front. I've got my collar bound off too. Here's the collar at the top. So my collar's bound off, my sleeves are bound off, and I've got these stitches on the needles from the bottom that will become the rest of the length of the cardigan, and then those increased panels in the front. I'm knitting this out of Tosh Merino Light in the Turn colorway on US 4s, I believe. Yes, US 4s. And I just joined my second skein, and I believe I'll dip into the third skein to make it, so I'm about a third of the way there. I'm really enjoying this pattern. It's a paid-for pattern, but it's less than $2. I'm sure of that. It's less than $2. So there was some ribbing that I just knit, and now I'm back into the lace sections, and I think I was getting a little bored with the repeating lace over and over again, so I took a break from that. and I started a little coat for Emily. So I mentioned in my last episode that I'm participating in the Eat Sleep knit-alongs, and I have yarn for a lot of the knit-alongs, but there is one knit-along that is out of chunky. It's just a chunky knit-along, and you need to knit out of a chunky base. And I don't have any chunky yarn because I generally don't knit with chunky yarn. So I made their 10K membership last year. So this last week I think they had a sale going on where it was 15% off of chunky yarns for 10K members. So I went ahead and scooped up some chunky yarn for the chunky cow. And I went with, this yarn is very fitting, it's Tosh Merino Chunky. And the colorway name is Jade, which is Emily's middle name. So I had to go with it. So I am knitting her the Latte Baby Coat by Lisa Chemery. And this is a paid for pattern. And it is just a cute little coat. So it's hooded. And so you start with the hood and you knit down. And you break the sleeves. And now I've got the back and the front that I'm knitting along with. And this is my first time alternating skeins. I've never done that before, but oh, I guess I don't have the third skein near me. These two skeins matched the closest, but the third skein was a little off. So, or no, I don't know, one of the skeins was off compared to the others. It might be the one that's missing. And so I've been alternating. I knit the hood straight out of one, and so there is kind of, it's not super noticeable, the break between the hood and the shoulders, but now for the body and the sleeves I've been alternating between these two skeins, and it seems to be working out well. I don't see any lines that you get sometimes from skeins that don't quite match up, because, you know, even these are very broken up in dark and light colors, and the lights don't necessarily match, and the darks don't necessarily match either. So I'm enjoying this coat. It's got the cutest little button band on it, and I can't wait to start it. It's got a knitting stitch that, like a combination of stitches, of course, that I've never done before, and the pattern writer recommends that you test it out not on the sweater because it is a little difficult to get a hang of it first. So of course I'm just going to try it straight on the sweater, and I'll probably have some sort of terrible experience that I'll share with you guys next time. I mean, I hope not, but that's, come on, if you watched me long enough you know that's probably what's going to happen. But yeah, I've been enjoying knitting this so far. And then I also cast on another baby sweater, but this one is not for Emily. So I bought this book a while ago, Baby Knits, and I'm actually knitting that cardigan right off the cover there. It's called The Princess of Hearts by Deborah Newton, and I know I have a post-it note in here. Oh, here we go. Here's another picture of the cute little cardigan, and I thought this was fitting for the season because it's got a heart lace little motifs at the bottom. I guess it's more of like a panel than a motif, but this is actually for my husband's stepsister's daughter. My stepsister-in-law? I think that's right. But so far, this is what I have, and there's like a garter tab at the bottom. Well, that's not a tab, but like a couple rows of garter stitch at the bottom, and it folds up, but that'll easily be blocked out. But you can see I've got at least one repeat of the lace panel going, and I've almost finished a second repeat, and there are three repeats. There are three repeats at the bottom, and I'm knitting this pattern. Oh, I didn't tell you what size needle on the chunky yarn. I believe it was 9s on that Tosh chunky, and then this is I knew a size 4s, and this yarn is Knit Picks Swish DK. So this is my first time using the Swish DK, but it is a lot like Stroll. I think it might be the same base, but just a thicker, you know what I mean? The same wool spun the same way, just this one's thicker. because it does feel like it would get pilly like the stroll did. But you can't beat that price, and this is a gift, and it's superwash, so should turn out well. And it's in the sugar plum colorway, so I can't tell if the color's showing up accurately on screen or not, but it's like a light purple, like a really light lavender, but sometimes the light makes it look a little pink. So, but I think that'll be perfect for a little baby girl. And so that takes me to, oh wait, no, I have one more work in progress. You know, that's funny because it's not in my, it's not my show notes, but I see it here in the bag next to me. I cast on more socks. So, and this is also for the Eat Sleep knit-alongs. They have a sock knit-along, but it's a specific pattern. So I went ahead and chose the Hermiones Everyday Socks. That was one of the options because I've never knit them before, and I've seen that they're really popular, and I've heard good things about them. So I cast them on, and I leave my tails on to mark the beginning of the round. So I know, because I knit my socks on 2 circulars. I don't know, I remember how it started. It started with the Op Art sock book. It's the Op Art sock book by Stephanie Vanderlinden is nothing but colorwork socks. And they recommend that you knit on 2 circulars to help with the color work. And so I think that's how my 2 circular sock knitting started, and I've just stuck with it. But so I leave these tails to know where the beginning of the round is because it's cut in half. So one's the front, one's back. But so I've been knitting these socks out of Lorna's Laces shepherd sock in the Eat Sleep Knit colorway, and this is not my normal colors, but it's been so much fun to knit with. You can see it here in the skein or the cake. That's very sherbety. These are very sherbety colors. A lot of pink. At first, you know, I'm not sure how I felt about the turquoise, but it does break up the colors quite a bit, so I guess I am glad that it's in there. But for my normal color palette, I think if I was to have dyed something similar to this, I think I would have left the turquoise out. But surprisingly, I'm really enjoying the magenta, hottish pink that's in it, because there's like a magenta pink and then like a softer baby pink. But isn't it interesting how they are knitting up like spiraling? I thought that was interesting. They're not self-striping yarns, but they are definitely spiraling. And I do like the textured pattern that these socks give you. The Hermiones Everyday Socks is a free pattern on Ravelry. And it's not difficult at all. And once you get past the first couple rows, you can just put these down, pick them back up, and pretty much see where you left off in the pattern. Excuse me. So I've been enjoying these, and I'm knitting these on US size zeros. I pretty much have been knitting all of my socks on size zeros. I really like the fabric that you get with size zeros. The only thing being sometimes with a heavier fingering weight, zeros is a little too tight, but it's better than knitting lighter fingering weight with ones and getting too loose of a fabric. But I am enjoying the way these are knitting up. I'm enjoying having a sock knitting project all the time with Emily because it's easy to pick up and put down with her. You know what I mean? If she's asleep and then wakes up real quick, I can just put them down no problem and move on. Take care of her, and then it's easy to pick back up. It's also easy to do with the 2 circular needles. It's easier to pick up and put down because you can stop halfway through a row without really having them be on your needles in a funky way. You know what I mean? I know you know what I mean. So now moving on to finished objects. So let's start with my socks. My Rosamine socks, Rosamine, they are done, and I'm very happy with them. And I do have to say, the body of these socks were knit out of Shibui knits. Yeah, it was just Shibui knit sock, and it was kind of rough. Not bad, just a little rough, but now that I've washed and blocked them, it's a lot softer. And these fit really well. Actually, now that I'm not pregnant, I could probably put them on and show you them on my feet. I know when my belly was in the way, I couldn't do that. Now, realistically, I probably should have knit another row or two in the foot, you know, because most patterns like this one, which was free by the way, will tell you to start the toe about 2 inches from, like, knit to 2 inches before the end of your toe, and that's when you'll start your toe. I knit to a little less than 2 inches, or a little more than 2 inches from my toe, just because I like snug fitting socks, and I probably should have knit all the way to 2 inches from my toe. But here's my sock, and you can see it fits great. The heel and the heel flap and the pattern and the stripy toes. I'm very, very, very pleased. Yeah, I think it's a nice pattern, and it was fun to learn the new technique. And you can see in this one that I haven't put on, you can see the arch shaping, and I really do believe that helps with the fit. It was kind of annoying to do. I didn't really enjoy it because it kind of moves the stitches around on your needles, and so you have to re-establish where the front and back of your foot is when you go to do your toe, and so that was annoying. But other than that, it was nice. I think if it was written into a sock pattern that I followed in the future, I would go ahead and do it, but I don't think I'd try to add it into sock patterns it wasn't already written into, because I did find it annoying. But yeah, so those are my Rosamine socks. Oh, and I took the scraps from the sock yarn to knit this little guy. He's a little fox. He was part of the Mochi Mochi Land patterns that I showed you that I got from Eat Sleep Knit when I hit the first milestone. And since I'm on Team Fleecy Foxes, I knit my little team's mascot. Oh, and you know, also last week when I showed you guys what I got, I also forgot to mention that I received a little Post-it notepad with my team mascot on it. So anyways, I also finished my Barley Hat. So this is the Barley Hat by Tin Can Knits, and I knit it out of German Color Classy in the Humdrum colorway, and I'm happy with the way it came out. I knit it exactly the way that the pattern wanted you to. And so I think it works best when you have bangs, and I don't really have any bangs. But it gives you a good amount of slouch. You can see in the back here, you get a good amount of slouch if you follow the pattern the way that it's written. And this is actually not the instructions for the slouchier hat. So originally it is a slouchy hat, because I believe I knit like 8 to 8 inches before I started the decreases. So this is a free pattern. I think I might have said that. But yeah, I think that I would like the hat without as much slouch in it. But it's orange, so I'll be wearing it regardless. You know, it'll match pretty much most other things that I've knit. So no complaints here. And I do have to say about this Classy, after I washed it, it got softer too. So I do like that. Then, oh, the tiniest little finished objects. I mean, I guess my fox, I didn't count him in my finished objects, but he is the tiniest finished object, which makes these the second tiniest finished object. I made these little booties. They're so little. These are the Crocodile Stitch booties by Bonita Patterns, and this is a paid for pattern that I got in a 2-pack. I have made the adult version of these for myself and absolutely love them, and then I made this 0 to 6 month size, and I knit it, or no, I crocheted it on, I used a USD hook, and I used Knit Picks Felici, and it's their self-striping fingering weight in Blackberry Jam colorway. And I picked that up during the Black Friday sale because I believe their Felici is still, they don't have it. Discontinued. Oh, I forgot what I was trying to say there. I believe it's still discontinued. But I just put some buttons on there that I got from Hobby Lobby. They're like pearl with little metal rings around them. They're very hard to photograph because the light really likes to shine off of them. But they're not that bright. But these are going to go with that little Hearts cardigan that I'm knitting to go to my stepsister-in-law for her little baby, which I think is due in May. So I have time to finish that cardigan, and I also want to make her another dress. So that's all I got for finished objects, so check it out. So for check it out, I would like to share what I got in the mail this week. So if you are participating in the Penguin Soup Nightmare Before Christmas Club and you have not received your final club yarn, go ahead and skip ahead because that's what I'm going to share. So in the mail, I got the best package from this club yet. This was the package that came with the themed bag, and oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at that fabric. It's Jack and Zero. It is so cute. And it's a nice box bag, project bag, which you can see mine. I really enjoy this style bag, especially for sock knitting. I'm not really sure why I gravitate towards this bag for sock knitting, but I do. And so it's this really cute Jack and Zero print on the outside with this bright red statement zipper, which matches the interior fabric, which is snowflakes, right? The Nightmare Before Christmas. So this bag came, and this bag was made by Wool Sunday. There is the Wool Sunday card. And here's the other side. But yes, I absolutely love this bag, and the craftsmanship is very, very nice. And then the yarn. So the third and final yarn was inspired by Oogie Boogie, and not just plain old Oogie Boogie. Oogie Boogie when he's in his lair under those neon lights. Yes, look at that yarn. So this is Penguin Soup, and for the final skein, you could either get like an extra yardage skein of her Emperor sock, or you could choose this Royal MCN, and that's what I went with, the Royal MCN. And so this is just, oh, this is just gorgeous. Let me take it out of its thing and open it up. Look at that. I cannot wait to knit with this. Oh, look at that. I'm super excited. And so I've knit a hand accessory with the first two yarns, with the patchwork yarn, which was Sally, and then the self-striping Jack yarn. And so of course I have to make some sort of hand accessory with this Oogie Boogie. Now I've been looking at patterns, and I've tossed around the idea of pairing this yarn with black and making Prickly, which is a fingerless mitts pattern that does some color work, I believe. But I also don't want to take away from the yarn though, because the other two yarns I've knit them plain by themselves, and I really want these to stand out. So I've looked at some other patterns too, kind of throwing around in my mind what exactly I want to make with it. So, but I absolutely love it, and I've really enjoyed being a part of the Penguin Soup Club. Now, of course, it got me in because it was Nightmare Before Christmas, but honestly, I really like her colorways, and I believe that I'm going to be purchasing future clubs, because even if you're not really into the theme, she still puts out really amazing colorways, and you usually get treats. From her last club, I believe she did the same thing, where you were guaranteed at least a sparkly yarn, a self-striping yarn, and stitch markers and a project bag. Now I don't know if she'll continue it that way, but that's how this one went, and I think that's how the last one went. So when she does her next club, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be hopping in no matter what the theme. Now that I say that, you watch her do something I absolutely don't like. And then I can't go back on my word that I would join no matter what. That's okay. There's not a lot in the world that I don't like, so yeah, that's my check it out. So I know in the past I've had an upcoming events or current events and the upcoming events, but I haven't really been participating that much in events or looking forward to going to any events soon. So I'm going to leave those sections out of the podcast until they're, you know, worth using, until I have something to put there. So other than that, I did shoot a little bit with Emily in some hand knits, so I will leave you guys with that. So Emily is wearing a little newborn vertebrae that was knit by Holly. So thank you so much, Holly, from the Swift Knits podcast. She sent this on over, and I don't remember what yarn it's made out of, but I do know it is a hand wash little sweater cardigan here. And she also sent a little Barley Hat that's still a little too big for her head, so it covers her eyes. But you want to say hi, Emily? You want to say hi, little goo? You want to say hi, little goo? You want to say hi? Oops, I put you on the table. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. I got the hiccups. I got the hiccups. She's got the hiccups pretty good. Okay, girl. Okay, girl. Want to say bye? Bye. Alright. I hope you guys made something awesome during this little episode, and I will see you next time I record. Happy crafting!